April 14th, 2010, we went out to Altus Air Force Base, Oklahoma, and the mission was to set a new world record for the furthest distance in free fall while wearing a wingsuit.
Tomorrow morning, showing here at 4 o'clock in the morning for our mission brief and the pre-flights. Get the pre-flight crew out to the aircraft while we're taking the weather, checking our final briefings and getting ready to go. The crew will step at 5 o'clock in the morning out to the aircraft to finish the pre-flights, get into their positions and be ready to fly. At 6 o'clock, we start our hour of pre-breathing time so that we can safely climb the altitude unpressurized. 7 o'clock local takeoff. We're looking from there right to a 0730 TOT for the drop from 32,000 feet.
We had about 1 hour to set up the aircraft for everything that needed to be set up. That's from HD cameras on the tailgate and throughout the plane to the oxygen equipment getting hooked up, checking my own equipment, as well as oxygen hoses and all the equipment working properly.
We're getting everything set up right now. So we got some checklists. We got an additional pilot helping us out because we're about to hook up on the mask. And once we're hooked up on the mask, we're gonna have to stay in that seat.
We took off and started climbing up to 32,000 feet. And on the climb to altitude, the phys techs, who are Air Force personnel who are monitoring us for signs of hypoxia, were monitoring us. Sergeant First Class Arlen Slade was on board. He's a parachute maintenance technician, so his duty was to make sure all my equipment was going to be working properly, both ready to go in the aircraft, and it would work properly when I needed it to once I exited the aircraft. 2 minutes is when I actually disconnected my oxygen hose from the aircraft and started breathing off of the O2 bottles that are located on me. 1 minute prior, I started walking towards the tailgate, and then the crew gave me a 30-second call, and then a final 10-second call, and then they started counting down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then both the load masters gave me a point, telling me that it's time to step off the tailgate. And from there, I exited the aircraft. It was a nice, smooth exit, got above the tail, and started heading in the direction of flight. Midway into the flight, I noticed some clouds ahead of me, and due to FAA regulations, can't be going through clouds, so started deviating a little bit to the west to avoid the clouds. It was in free fall for 6 minutes and 35 seconds, and at 3,500 feet, I deployed my parachute and landed out in a farm field just to the west of Altus Air Force Base. I landed from the exit point that I jumped out at to where I landed on the ground was 11.51 miles, which is 1.5 miles further than the current world record. Well, I landed out in the farm field and started gathering up on my gear, and I started walking out towards the main road that was out there. And on the way out to the road, I noticed some people working out in the field, and one of the trucks started leaving the field to head out towards the road, and I flagged him down, and he came up to me, and he said, "I thought I saw a parachutist," and apparently while he was working out in the field, he'd seen me under canopy and then going to land out in the field, and thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. So he went back to work and carried on with what he was doing, and then when he finally saw me with all my equipment, he realized that his eyes weren't playing tricks on him, and he gave me a ride back to Altus Air Force Base. Altogether, this mission was a success. Without the people that made this possible, like the 97th Air Mobility Wing out in Altus Air Force Base, the logistical support that we received out there, as well as from the FAA, the phys techs from the Air Force. Without those people's hard work and dedication, this mission wouldn't have been a success. We appreciate their support.